Hi friends, it's Wednesday afternoon and I'm freezing. I'm in North Carolina. I'm still at my daughter's, loving every minute of it. But my Florida blood is just a little bit chilly. So I got my sweatshirt on and I'm gonna make a pot of beef barley soup. Now I'm from New York, so anybody from New York that's been to a good Jewish deli knows what it is to have a delicious cup or bowl of beef barley soup. This is like so near and dear to my father's heart. It would just lift him. It would comfort him, and that's what soup I think is meant to do. And you know, I think soup is, you know, it's kind of everything in one dish. You got your vegetables. I'm gonna kind of move my phone around. I hope this works. I'm gonna be cooking from my my Le Creuset pot. Wait, let me see. I'm gonna make you dizzy. Here we are. I'm gonna use a nice big quart pot, and I have my beef and my veggies all chopped up: mushrooms, carrots, onions, some fresh parsley, garlic, and of course we're using a chuck. And then we have some beef broth, some barley, and some crushed tomatoes. So, okay. I know. Hi, Susie Walden, my love, my friend, forever. We were kids when we met. So, okay, so I'm going to, I know you're not supposed to touch your face. I'm going to brown this meat and onions and veggies. And I put some olive oil in the pan. And I'm just going to put this meat in here. So like I was saying, anybody that's from New York has definitely had a good bowl of beef barley, and I'm going to be actually putting mushrooms in here too, because to me mushrooms make everything better. And today I did a little devotion on joy, and I hope that you, hi Michelle Davis. Yes, I am 100% and I'm hungry. So this is the thing about soup. What I was saying is, it's, you know, everything is in one dish, and that's a beautiful thing. And I'm going to brown this meat on a high flame. I have my daughter's wonderful gas stove, which I love. I'm gonna add season with some salt. Now the beef stock that I'm using also has salt in it, so we don't have to get crazy with the salt, but just, you know, evenly sprinkle that around. And you know, the beef has to have the fat in it. Like I always tell you, if it's going to have any flavor, it's got to have some fat. So I'm browning it. I'm going to move my camera around. I know this is probably not the best way to do this, but so, wait, can you see it? So it's browning, okay? It's not going to take too long, just a couple of minutes. So we talked about joy today, and you know, I was just thinking how much, how big joy is, a gift from the Lord. It's such a huge thing because, you know, in life, uncertainty and situations that we have no control over, but we can choose, we can control if we live out that situation joyfully with a good attitude. You know, a good attitude counts for a lot. And even though the Lord is full of grace and He gives us permission to complain, you know, He knows that if we stay in that place too long, it's going to hurt us and it's going to hurt those around us. So I feel like soup is something to be happy about. You know, it's something to bring comfort to our souls, and it warms you up. And it is, you know, I feel one of those wonderful meals that, you know, they're healthy because you have a nice balance of vegetables, protein, some carbohydrates. I don't know, my daughter's asking me where my grandson. So in any case, because I'm in my daughter's house, this is going to be what it's going to be. But I know that any of you that know me and love me will appreciate that. That we're not, there's no perfection here. So talking about comfort, I also made some banana bread today because my husband had brought, hey Ingrid honey, my husband had brought a huge bunch of bananas from our banana tree in Florida. So besides the mangoes, because you know we made some mango bread when I first got here. So today I made a couple of delicious banana breads, and you know that's always comforting too, and just enjoyable. The kids love that. And I actually make some gluten-free and some with regular flour, and they're both equally delicious. So now this meat is getting brown. I'm actually going to move it to another burner because I really want the heat to get a little higher. I'm glad you were able to join us, Ingrid. Love you, my sweet friend. I was thinking of you today when I was talking about working out, how somebody that is a trained athlete, you know, they like that extra measure of weight to challenge them. It's like a tension that creates that force that creates, you know, again, growth in your muscles and your stamina. And that's what God wants to do. As we mature in faith, He is going to test us with different trials. And in those trials, we have an opportunity to grow, which means, all that means is choosing God's way through the valley. Choosing to honor Him, even if someone doesn't honor us, even if, you know, we're disappointed and discouraged, we can still choose to honor Him. Lost a piece of meat. Okay, I am actually going to take this meat, I'm going to put it in a bowl because I want to saute the vegetables. So hold on a second. I kind of did that a little bit out of order. This is pretty funny, isn't it? So the meat throws off some liquid. I'll show that to you, which we want to keep. We want to keep all the juices from the meat because that obviously is what's going to add all that flavor. So I'm just going to remove the meat because we want this meat to cook low and slow. And using a Le Creuset pot or any kind of ceramic that can go in the oven allows that meat to tenderize because it cooks it, you know, under an intense amount of heat, and that breaks down the tissue and allows it to get really nice and tender. And for you women, men out there that use the Instapots, you know, my mom was a gypsy. She was always out and about, and she had the skill of preparing a meal in 15 minutes because she used her pressure cooker a lot. Okay, let me just show you this so you can see that meat. It's brown, somewhat brown, and you know, it's gonna get a little sauteed. I'm gonna throw all these vegetables that I showed you, the carrots, the parsley, the onion. Okay, that's gonna all go in there. And I'm gonna saute that until it's nice and tender. I'm gonna add a little more olive oil to this pan because we want it to brown. You know, we don't want it to boil, we want it to brown. So here we have, I'm gonna move my camera again so I can show you. Okay, so you see that browning. And I'm just gonna give that, you know, 5-10 minutes. So how are all of you doing? I would imagine that the weather is warming up in Florida, even though it's quite chilly here in North Carolina. It's supposed to be a beach weekend actually here. So it's due to warm up, just hasn't done it yet. And like I said, I have that Florida blood that is thinned out and doesn't do well with the cold. So, you know, Wednesday was always a good day for a dish like this. You know, when you just kind of, it's the middle of the week, and you just need to do something a little different. I was actually going to make steak pizzaioli, and then I was thinking of beef stroganoff, but I feel like I just ate those. So you know, you have to spread out your repertoire or it gets a bit boring. So these vegetables are getting nice and sauteed. You know, the onions should get transparent. I'm going to throw in a little garlic now. You don't want to put the garlic in at the beginning because I'm actually using minced garlic, so it's not going to, you know, just a teaspoon of that. We don't want that to get too brown because then it becomes bitter. So how long are we talking so far? Not that long. Susie Walden, I'm looking at your beautiful face, is up on my screen in the corner. I feel like you're right here beside me. It's so nice to see your beautiful face. Okay, so we're still turning this. I wish we could do a Zoom, then I can hear you talk too, not just me. So I'm getting ready to go back to Florida. It's hard because, you know, as much as I love being here with my babies, you know, at some point I have to go back to my own life. And but I have enjoyed my time here, and I'll be back in a couple of weeks. We never stay away too long from one another. And, you know, the kids really appreciate all my little special meals I make them. It is warm in Florida, huh? Well, I just put my lipstick on for you. I'm not too dolled up, but I got my lipstick on. Okay, so I'm going to show you what this looks like. I'm trying to grab the phone without. All right, I think I did it right this time. Hi, Joanne. Okay, see how those vegetables are coming along, softening up. They're gonna cook down, you know, in the process. So now I'm gonna add my beef, which I sauteed. I add a little salt too. And you know, my grandchildren are really good eaters. I hope that your family, that's a blessing, you know, when kids are good eaters. It's such a blessing because, you know, not all children are good eaters and not all children enjoy healthy, good food. So their palates are just not mature enough or whatever. They don't like textures. So you have to be a little more sneaky to get in anything that has any nutrients. Okay, I'm going to pick this up and show you how gorgeous this is. There we go. See? Beautiful, right? Okay. Thank you, Joanne. That's so sweet of you. I'm glad that you're enjoying our time together because it really is a blessing for me. So I'm going to put in not a lot of tomatoes. I'm just using some crushed tomatoes. I'm going to put, I guess you would say, half a cup. Give or take a little. Okay, so now I got my tomatoes in here. And, you know, the flavors are already, the sugars are coming together from the vegetables and that nice rich flavor from the beef. And now we're going to add that beef stock. So just, you know, your typical. Now, if you make, you know, bone broth is one of the healthiest things you can have, and it's so easy to make. I just actually get the bones with the marrow. Make sure you get with the marrow. And just let them cook with some, you know, carrots and celery and onions. And just let them cook. And I'm telling you, they make a delicious broth. And you can keep that in the freezer. Hi, Suzanne Cambarado. Beautiful girl. And Rachel, I see Rachel also. Hey, sweetie. Raquel. So, okay, so I just dumped in that carton of beef stock. Now, I'm not sure how much this is going to cook down. And like I said, you can, if you're one of those, you know, pressure cookers or Instapot people, you can totally do this then. So I'm going to put in my barley. My daughter picked this up for me. See that brand? Nice, and it's a good quality brand. So I'm going to put about a cup. Right? I didn't open this yet. Okay, so I'm going to pour this in. Now, like I said, I may be adding stock along the way, because you know, anything that has a grain like this, like rice, it really grows. And you know, beef barley soup is meant to really be very hearty, not as much soupy. So there's a little more of the grain than there is the soup. But you know, that again is a personal choice. You can do this with a lot less grain. You can do this just with the broth and the vegetables and the beef. You can also do this with pasta, but my my desire today was for beef barley, because it's just comforting, and it just warms you up, warms up the soul. So I'm going to shut this off now, and I'm actually going to put the whole pot covered in the oven. And I'm going to just show you this pot again, because it's really, wait, let me see if I can you see that? This is one of the best pots. Can you see that okay? I'm not sure. Okay, so I think it's a 5-quart. It's so heavy. You know, I make my Sunday gravy in this pot. I put it in the oven after I brown my meat and I add my meatballs and tomatoes and all that business. And I cover the pot, put it on a low, slow. And actually, church is around the corner from our house, so like on a Sunday morning, I'll throw that all together, put the oven on 325, because I know how long I'm going to be gone, and my Sunday gravy is done by the time I get home from church. So I do my chicken soup like this. You can do any of the, oh, that's right, Suzanne, did you get it? Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, yes. It's wonderful. You really can't mess it up. The only thing I would say, Susie, that if you use an electric stove, you really got to watch it, because see, gas heat is a more precise heat. The minute you shut it off, it's off. But with electric, you know, that burner has to cool down. So there have been many times where I thought I lowered it enough or shut it, and there was still heat coming into the pot, and because of the, you know, the cast iron, it really heats up. So you have more risk, you have more risk of it sticking to the bottom or even burning the bottom of that gravy. So because of that, I prefer to prep, brown everything, saute everything on the stove, and then put it in the oven. Because if you put it in the oven in the middle rack, and I actually have a convection stove. If you have convection, that's really the best, most efficient heat, because it circulates the pot. It's not just coming from the bottom or from the top. It's a circuit, and it has a little fan that distributes the heat much more effectively. So you can smell it from there. I'm so glad. I think it's going to be delicious. So again, carrots, onions, mushrooms, fresh Italian parsley, crushed tomatoes, fresh garlic, some kind of chuck. You want to cut the pieces in smaller pieces, bite-sized pieces. You don't want to be cutting with a knife as you're eating it. And that pearl barley, a good beef stock, or you can make the bone broth yourself, which is excellent. Little salt, brown it in olive oil, put the cover on it, and put it in the oven. And you know, years ago they used to, my mom, what did they used to call those pots? A Dutch oven. If you have an old-fashioned Dutch oven, that's the same thing. So you can go ahead and use that. What I like about this, again, I put it in the oven 325, set the timer for an hour. When that meat is tender and that grain has now come together and it fullness, you know, it's kind of filled the broth, you're done. And if it takes a little longer, it's not going to be much more than that. So there's my 15-minute meal. And it was wonderful to see you again. And I'm thinking I'm going to be back in Florida for next week, so I'll be cooking. I'll be cooking meals that are a little on the lighter side once I get there. So love you all. God bless you, and stay well until I see you again. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to do a devotion tomorrow. I'm hoping to do it, but there's quite a bit of people in the house right now, so it's hard to navigate around everybody's schedule without being a distraction to their normal routine. So I'm trying to be, you know, honoring to that. So love you girls. Be well. God bless you. Bye-bye. Enjoy. Manja.